Are you sitting comfortably? Then we'll begin.
Everybody, how's it going? And welcome to what will be our new Sunday show. We still don't have a name for it. There was a few ideas that came along that were pretty good, but we're an indecisive group, so we'll just see how it goes. Before we get started, there was a major issue in my world in tech today. We accidentally did the full system update on my Mac to the newest one. I always wait and make sure. And then that forced me to do the OBS update, the software we use for streaming. Nothing worked when it was all updated. It took me a while to rebuild and fix, and we'll just pray to the tech gods that this shit holds together.
Cry.
Yeah.
Whimper.
Yeah, it's a new video chat room and everything. So way too much new to be doing a live show with. But hey, what are you going to do, right?
It's all right. It's only this show.
It's only our show.
Yeah, it's not like it's one of the important ones.
Yeah. So Commander, how's things? What's happening your way, and how you feeling about life?
Things are okay and going well.
We can soon change that.
Yeah.
Give it 15 minutes, it'll get worse.
Exactly. Sure. Probably within the first headline. So we'll see how it goes.
We're going to get you a special T-shirt printed up. It just says, "I wasn't an alcoholic until I joined the Shills."
Yeah. After the surgery, I stayed on the pills, so this place makes sense. All right. So, who would like to? Due to the disheveled nature of everything going on over here, I only barely got ready in time. So, Dunk, Commander, who wants to take first turn? Because I don't think I could say I'm quite ready.
I'll jump in.
Sure, let's go.
I've got more topics today than I usually do, so maybe we can get to them all then.
We might need them. Let's see.
So, first item of exciting business. U.S. tourist visa waiver fees, which goes by the strange initials of ESTA, which affects citizens from 41 countries, including most of Europe and the UK. Anyway, those fees are about to almost double on the 1st of October.
Wow.
From what to what?
from $21 to $40.
Okay.
So nothing horrid, but still noteworthy increase in price.
Yeah.
Basically, these are countries where you don't need to have formally applied for a visa and everything before you go. You just sign up for I'm going, and off you go, and they scan you in when you get there because we have special arrangements with those countries. And when you get there, they issue you a visa at the check-in counter, basically.
Right.
Okay. So for non-ESTA nations, the visa applications will now include a $250 integrity fee. This is in addition to the normal $185 fee for a visa. In other words, for a total of $435 to come visit. And again, these are tourist visas. These aren't long-term work visas, student education visas, anything like that. It's just to, pop in for a month and see the exciting sights. Anyway, this is all coming on the heels of arrivals to the U.S. already being down by over 3 million from the previous year. So we're trying to encourage people to come and spend their money in the U.S. by raising fees. Brilliant.
Wow.
Yeah. So anyway, doubling entry costs makes the U.S. a much less attractive destination for international travelers, which then translates into reduced hotel fees, or I don't know what you call them, registrations, people staying at hotels, restaurant diners, airline and retail revenues, et cetera, et cetera.
Mm-hmm.
So the timing of this is particularly poor as the EU is currently experimenting with lowering its own tourism caps and taxes. So, if you were just a tourist and wanted to go somewhere, well, I can either pay much higher fees for the US, or I can pay lower fees to go visit Europe. This is a hard choice. Let me think about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Probably more welcome in North Korea.
Anyway, yeah, exactly. Anyway, combined with stricter and far more arbitrary immigration enforcement in this country, this means that foreign investment in the U.S. is probably going to drop even further than it already has. So, we're doing everything we can to just keep winning. I don't know about you, but I'm tired of all the winning we're doing over here.
Charlie Sheen levels of winning.
Oh, yes. Epstein levels of winning.
I mean,
you could hire a dyslexic third grader, and they could probably do a better job running the government than this pack of morons is doing.
Yeah, you got you got numbers down in the millions.
Yeah.
So instead of making it more attractive to come and spend your money, we'll make it even worse.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm no tourism master and I'm not an economics person, but I can see the flaw in the plan here.
Just a slight one.
Minor.
Nothing major that will last, through next year's tourist season. No.
It might be the ICE agents that are hanging around from the departures lounge that are probably putting people off.
Anyway, when I was doing my research for the week, this was the one that just kind of slapped me in the face and said, yeah, this shows just how stupid the administration is. They really are. It's gone beyond with out of touch with reality to creating their own reality and substituting numbers that they, make up while taking a dump or something.
Yeah. Deep. Is there an angle to this, Commander, where they're purposely just trying to price the lower people out and they only,
I don't see how it benefits them.
I don't get it either. Yeah.
If you have any interest in a restaurant chain or a hotel chain or an airlines or something like that, you want more customers, not fewer.
Yeah. Yeah.
But here we are going out of our way to ensure we have fewer.
Yeah.
Are you sure? You sure you don't think Trump doesn't think this is a kind of a tariff? He hasn't got confused again, has he?
Beginning to wonder if he even knows how to spell tariff, let alone what it actually is.
Yeah. Donald, how do you spell tariff? TAX. No, that's not it.
Pretty close.
Yeah. So, foolish decisions are coming thick and fast these days.
Oh yeah.
And I gotta say, like, so many of them seem to be contrary to elevating your cash position the way Trump campaigned that he would do.
Yep.
So he's really using his well-known business tactics of screw everything up you touch.
Well, one of the speculations early on, and it may still be valid, I don't know. I don't subscribe to it. I did originally, but having watched what's occurred in the little over half year he's been in, I don't buy it entirely anymore. But the argument was that he was trying to ruin the economy so that the dollar would collapse and he could instead front some sort of cryptocurrency to be the new economic measure by which all currency globally will translate. Not realizing, of course, that if the dollar collapses, they're not going to go to the cryptocurrency of your choice. They're going to go to their own other standards.
Yep.
We'll go back to it being the British pound sterling or something of that nature.
And when you look on the world stage at the importance of the American dollar within the financial circles of the world, that would be a catastrophic thing to even attempt.
Yeah. And I can see him thinking that that was a great way for him to make, huge profits by starting up his own, Donald Trump Bitcoin or whatever you want to call it. And everybody would buy into that, and that would become the new economic measure of the globe. Except they sure as hell aren't going to go for one that he's pushing. They'll find some other cryptocurrency, assuming that's even the direction they go. And I don't see that because most central banks across the globe are not people who are, tech savvy enough and forward thinking enough. They're kind of old, stodgy people who want to go with some sort of actual physical currency, not an electronic thing that they can't really monitor because it's all crypto. Literally the word telling you everything you need to know.
Yeah. If you got the heads,
it's digital gold. Just tell them it's digital gold.
Yeah. It's worth so much.
Yeah. But if you got the heads of the biggest banks in the world all together for a meeting, not once would you hear the word bro.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. But that's why I don't think that's what's going on. I think this
I agree.
Him, with his big Bozo the Clown shoes flopping around the Oval Office going, let's put tariffs, let's raise fees.
Yeah. It's like an orange painted Mickey Mouse gone wild on crystal meth. Let's raise fees.
Yeah, exactly. Anyway, I thought that was an interesting story because it is further touching on just how out to lunch these people are.
Yeah.
Well, you're wrong because I've got a story here.
That's right. I don't have an MBA. I couldn't possibly know.
You're absolutely wrong because Trump is doing the thing that everybody has been asking for the whole time. You didn't know it. You didn't know you wanted it, but the Amelia Earhart files are being released. Finally, we get to. I mean, you were probably on duty at the time, so you're in the files.
Old, dude.
Yes, we're going to get the truth that we still don't know where she is.
That's essentially what they will come up with is we still don't know what happened.
Yeah. I saw a thing on this recently.
Next week, the Isadora Duncan files.
Yeah. The Zsa Zsa Gabor files. How did she get her career?
Oh, they'll be releasing the Flat Earth files next.
Yeah, it's just empty. Like the heads of the believers. But the what was I going to say? I saw a thing on some modern analysis of Amelia Earhart and what could have happened and stuff, and it had to do with the one antenna that has the big cables that go along the plane because it's the longer range one, and there was an issue with using that for where you would think you were, and it was probably a mistake on the part of in the plane, and they just didn't have the fuel to make it where they were going to go, and that thing hit the water. I mean,
Yeah, but to my thinking, I mean, we're really going off track here. To my thinking, the biggest flaw in the whole thing with Earhart is that she really was not a trained navigator. She was a good flyer, fly by seat of pants kind of thing, but she didn't do navigation. And in those days, because you didn't have electronic navigation, you had to be able to, get out there with a wristwatch and a sextant and take star lines and figure out where the hell you were.
Yeah.
And she just didn't have that. Now, I understand the other person who was with her supposedly had some of that, but he wasn't, a wizard at it.
Mm-hmm.
But given the distances that they were flying, the fact that you couldn't really use radio signals to try to home in on anything because you're out in the middle of the Pacific, and this is well before any of those islands had anything resembling radio on them. Yeah, you get a couple of degrees off, and over a period of a couple hours flying off, you're hundreds of miles away from where you think you are.
Yeah, it's the whole traffic cone effect, right? Yeah. You start at the point, and if you're slightly off, you're doomed, right?
Yep.
Yeah, but the idea that somehow the Amelia Earhart files could distract us from what this administration is truly up to and doing right now is as farcical a joke as Donald Trump saying, no, my little thing can impregnate you. Trust me,
But I mean, didn't he earlier release some of the Kennedy files?
Yeah. And it was all just redacted nonsense that told everybody nothing.
And nobody was particularly interested. It didn't cause a big fluff. So why the hell does he think the Earhart files are going to interest anybody?
I know.
Because she was flying Epstein's plane.
Bastard's been at it a long time. Son of a bitch. Okay, so I will throw us into something here that I wanted to get into.
Sounds good.
The CEO of Walmart there has put out a big wake-up call. AI is going to change literally every job there is. The big executive's blunt message was artificial intelligence will wipe out jobs and reshape the workforce. Now, when AI first started to hit and we started getting these apps, I mean, these guys have been using large language models and stuff in the background for a while and whatnot. Yeah. But now that it's in the public, it seems like it's new to us, but it's not that new. But think about this for a minute. When they first started bringing it out to us, they were like, no, AI would never take jobs. It's going to enhance jobs and blah, blah. Here's the top dog at Walmart saying, yeah, a lot of you people are properly screwed, and just being open and blunt about it. And it's about time. But
at the same time, you got to remember Walmart's one of the firms that took out the, your self checkout service. because they were having so many problems with that, with people not scanning stuff and so forth. So AI only gets you so far.
Yeah. They actually love that self-checkout where I live. They've expanded it. But we're a small town Canada. I wouldn't doubt that we just have more honest people in our little town. So it works here versus like, you know, downtown Toronto where half the people would be trying to scam them, right?
And I also acknowledge that self-checkout is hardly AI, but it's a lot of these big business thinkers, Musk being a case in point, are utterly convinced that they can implement some half-tested, you know, prototype system and everything will, you know, immediately do away with 90% of their workers or everything. Meaning they really have a fundamental misunderstanding of what their workers are actually doing.
Yeah.
And how much of that you can actually, at this point, given the nature of the technology that we're talking about, you can transfer it over to an AI to run. Now, if they were saying, yeah, within 50 years, definitely, I would agree with that.
Yeah.
But most of these guys are like, you know, in the next 2 to 3 years. It's like, shit, you ain't going to be able to do that in one store in 2 to 3 years.
Well, here's the thing. A lot of people, when you look at the comments on this article, are, you know, saying, see, the AI is just going to wipe out the small jobs for us. We're all screwed and whatnot. I completely disagree on that. And this is why I wanted to bring up the article, because right now, more and more people are using Walmart's online shopping service and having their groceries delivered. I've done it a few times recently, and you can always tell when somebody too young has done it for you because they do the stupidest ass crap. If you need a substitution, or somebody doesn't even understand how to bag the stuff right. You don't put a jar of peanut butter on top of a loaf of bread, you freaking 16-year-old Gen Z idiot or whatever, you know. But
you don't?
Right? So these people,
I thought the 50-ton weight went on top of the eggs.
Oh, yeah, or the potato chips, right? Because that's also a good one too. You got to cushion the peanut butter, right? You know, but the thing is with all this online shopping, we're going to need training for the shoppers to get substitutions better and stuff like that, and learn how to pick fruit better and whatnot. So there's a low end job that's actually going to go up with all this. The people that are like, they're trying to get AIs to get rid of all the people that answer the phones and stuff. But has anybody watching this ever had an AI answer the phone and deal with you properly until you get to the phone person? No, never. What jobs could AI take right now? It's those asshole middle management people that think they're important and kind of aren't. They can do the basic accounting through the AI. They can track stock and watch buyer patterns to know what to order and whatnot. It's those guys that are in danger right now from AI. It's not the lowest common denominator. It's the slightly higher salary ones.
That isn't where they're going to be eliminating the people.
That's right. That's right. They won't. But those are the ones that AI could eliminate, to be honest.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
You know, the guys who do the bean counting. So taking school teachers is a perfect example. I know all about this because my wife, she was a teacher. You have to submit every week these reports on, you know, how many of your students' test grades went up, how many went down, and you have to record all this and calculate it. And then you send it up the chain to some middle manager up at the district headquarters.
Yep.
And they simply enter it into a machine.
Yep.
They don't look at it and analyze it.
Nope.
They don't even freaking know what it means because it's been decades since the last time any of those losers were in a classroom.
Exactly.
But those are the guys who make all the decisions for the the uppity up people at the top of the district. They're busy with other things. So it's that middle management group that make the recommendations, which inevitably are the decisions that are made by their superiors.
Yeah.
So they're never going to eliminate their own positions by saying, yeah, what I do isn't really important. You could have the teacher enter those scores directly into the computer themselves.
Yeah.
Oh, no, got to protect my phony baloney job.
Exactly.
And
yeah,
that's just education. I'm sure that extends to every large or even medium-sized business across the country.
And Dunk, I want to put it to you now with AI. I mean, you're a visual effects artist, Emmy winning, no less, right? Would you say it's fair to say that AI could help take away the jobs of people in your specific industry, effects and all that kind of stuff, that are almost unneeded to begin with, like the lowest common denominator, but somebody with actually skills and talent still has a decent career in front of them for a while yet anyway? Is that fair?
Well, to be fair, AI could do a lot of damage to my end of the industry. But the thing is, it's not being directed in that kind of way. You know, you can go and get like AI videos done, stuff like that, and prompt and stuff like that. But at the minute, it's not particularly very good at saying, here's. And I know Adobe have been trying this. They did some demos last year, but it's like, I've got this image here, or I've got this sequence. Could you, put an exploding truck in the background?
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah, no problem. And that would be because what you get into the editors, they want to try to piece together the film and get, it's usually called like temp work,
right,
where the editor will send you some footage and you go, right, could you do this and that with it. But if it can be in the hands of the editor and he doesn't need to go to a visual effects artist to do it, to piece together, what the show will look like, that could be an area where it starts to disappear. AI is being used in my industry in like cleanup work and stuff like that. There is a system, but you have to be like a computer genius to figure it out and make it work. So the potential is there.
I read a thing that it's also starting to erode on people that would traditionally do storyboarding and stuff because they're kind of not needed now. AI is good enough.
Yeah, that can happen too. I don't know many storyboard artists these days anyway, but
I guess so, right? But my concern is right now where we are. I mean, I was a creative person for a lot of my life. Same with Dunk. I think right now we're not at a point yet where you can get rid of the creative people, because I mean, even right now in the last couple of weeks, I've seen a few YouTube videos from like automotive and engineering people that I watch and stuff, and they're putting this god awful AI music under their voice now where they never used to do that before, and the comments is just full of it. Take that AI crap out, man. Like even people that aren't musicians can hear that it's just derivative bullshit.
Yeah. I'll tell you another area where it could impact in the future. And it's basically what you were saying earlier. It's like the middle management, because you have a piece of software called like Shotgun, and it's kind of like a database of how work is progressing, what shots are what, and who's working on it. And you have people like VFX coordinators do all that. Now, it could be a potential in the future where this company who writes this software just puts in sort of AI assistants for you instead. And then those people's jobs will be gone because, you only need one person to oversee the entire thing, as opposed to like half a dozen or 12, VFX coordinators, micromanaging all sorts of individual bits and pieces. So, I think that's a potential where you might see losses.
I think one of the key things, once it all sorts itself out, is that a lot of creative people are going to become, or successful creative people are going to become AI savvy, and be able to co-opt AI systems into helping them create, not using the system necessarily to replace the creative person, but to augment what they do.
Now,
but everybody who's working with the stuff right now, to them, it's all about, well, we'll cut the creative person who costs so much out,
right,
and have the AI take over for them, but we'll keep all the scut workers because they need to do all the, checking and making sure that the AI didn't screw it up.
Yeah, like
is backwards from the way you'd think a smart person would run it.
Yeah. I mean, we use some AI. I mean, here, we had this picture up. AI Alchemist did that for me there in the background, right? We had this one for Amelia Earhart. And we aren't taking away somebody's job and stuff and so on, because nobody could do that up fast enough for me to show it in real time while we're talking, right? So I, as a creative person, I'm totally fine with our usage of AI, because otherwise we just wouldn't have that, but at the same time, I'm a musician. If you hear a new theme song on this channel in the next little while, I wrote and recorded it. Damn right. Yeah, it's not going the other way. So,
I wish the AI wrote it.
Oh, good. Just. I wish the AI had built me the guitar instead of you.
And moving on to our next story.
Well, if we want to move on to another story, I've got a great one for you. Because in where is it? Los Angeles, there was the LA Comic Con, where they presented off a holographic AI Stan Lee.
Oh, and that I'm guessing it did not go over well.
Well, you had to pay to present yourself to it, and of course, the thing about this thing is you can actually interact with it and talk to it, which is kind of weird. Brilliant.
Hi, Stan. Did dying feel happy and good? Was it okay? It's what?
I think you're not allowed to ask him that. They have actually what they put up. So they think they've got some guardrails. He
doesn't know he's dead. Okay, don't ask that.
yeah. It's like an episode of the holodeck in Star Trek. But, I mean, this is the thing. It's like where do you go from here? But let's stick with the Stan Lee for the minute, because you're right. Some people will kind of like think it's cool. A lot of people hate it and just think it's just obscene, because it's just Stan Lee. It's been the model's been built on words that he's said in the past, so you probably can't ask him specific questions.
To a different direction, though. Stan Lee is recent. What if somebody builds a holographic AI run
Nikola Tesla?
Well, I was going to say Franklin Roosevelt or Abraham Lincoln or something.
Yeah.
That you can convert with. Does it have the same negative qualities that you're talking about?
Well, the thing is, you probably couldn't train an AI on people like that, because we don't have any footage on it. But scarily, there is one person who was recently taken from us who would be ideal for this, kind of format.
Max Headroom,
Mr. Charlie Kirk.
Oh,
yes. So he could be debating people indefinitely in hologram format. You can just set him up. I mean, but the thing is, AI has been being used in a lot of these ways. When they did the AI avatar, which is it's not them, it looks like them, and they're singing their songs, but it's just it's all on a fucking tape, digital playback.
Drop the needle.
Yeah, I mean, it's just like, but the thing is what's interesting, if you start looking back in time, when you saw avatars being used in movies, it was kind of like it was a good thing. Do you remember the time machine? You had that avatar in the library that that could just quote any books or any information.
Yeah.
It was great. And of course, you have the ultimate avatar, which is the emergency doctor in Voyager.
Yeah.
That's the ultimate, and you didn't have him switch on, and people going, fucking AI slop. Get it out of my sight. So people's resistance to AI now doesn't seem to relate to how people thought people might like AI in the future.
Yeah.
People's attitudes seem to not that they changed. It's this, back in the day, science fiction didn't have an attitude because there wasn't one yet. They hadn't thought it through and how people would react to it.
Here's the thing. is we're in the modern social media age, and the old saying FUD, fear, uncertainty, and doubt, still drives a lot of people's core instinctive reactions to things. And with all the stuff we've had in the media over the years, like Terminator, yada yada, and so on, there's going to be a core people that hate on this until it gives some real benefit to their life, not some stupid kind of self-driving car that runs over the mailman and the dog or something, not some stupid, I just need help with my refrigerator and I need a human bot thing, but real, you know?
So you won't like the Christopher Hitchens AI YouTube channel then? which I saw the other day. It's actually quite funny.
Funny story before we leave AI. Justin Trudeau, our former prime minister, he now has a job where he's doing the answers for a supposed AI of his father. So, it's kind of cool. I'm just kidding. But
does he do impressions?
Yeah. He does a great Steve Buscemi. But, it sounds like the little round one-eyed guy from Monsters, Inc. So I don't know.
Yeah.
Let's see here. So I've got a couple here.
Since we brought up Charlie Kirk, I've got it.
Oh, okay. Go for it.
Let me do that.
Go.
The European Parliament blocked a minute of silence to honor Charlie Kirk, which was proposed by conservative MEPs, which is members of the European Parliament. Right-wing groups argued that previous tributes of this nature, including to George Floyd in 2020, set a precedent for honoring American figures. Vice President of the European Parliament, Katharina Barley from Germany, ruled against the commemoration on procedural grounds, sparking protests from conservative members who saw a partisan double standard. So this dispute exposes how much American culture wars are now filtering directly into European politics.
Yeah.
While the EU Parliament regularly observes these kinds of minutes of silence for various international tragedies or important political figures, this specific fight over Charlie Kirk highlights the deeper transatlantic fractures that are going on right now. European conservatives view the rejection of this minute of silence for Kirk, which as being something that's ideologically based, illustrating how much European lawmakers are increasingly forced to choose sides in U.S. political battles. And I thought that was really an interesting observation, because you do see some of that starting to happen now, where what you would think of in most situations as being a strictly American, right versus left event has now been turned into something that's a global, right versus left fight.
Yeah.
Because the people who were running, I'll be generous and say both movements, but in reality, mostly on the right, those people are trying to change world opinions to put their billionaire oligarchic class over everybody else.
Yeah.
And are using the leverage they have with sympathetic politicians in other countries to make that a global issue now.
Yeah, there's it's strange, Commander, because so many places outside of the US have more than two political parties, but it's now left versus right everywhere you goddamn look.
Yeah. Well, over here in the UK, we've got left versus right versus the far right. And Mr. Nigel Farage has definitely been playing off the Trump playbook. He is now claimed that all the immigrants coming into the UK are eating the swans.
Oh, come on.
No, he went there. He just,
They're eating the dogs.
They're eating the
Exactly.
swans. They're eating the beavers.
It just went straight there,
Oh.
and of course the people, nature. Well, what do you call it? The officials who look after
David Suzuki's of your world. Yeah.
People who count swans, whoever that job is, the King's Swan counter, apparently say it's a load of bollocks. It's not happening. It's not true. And there's a surprise, eh?
Wow.
Yeah. So he's just going down the old Trump playbook of just telling lies, and before it can be corrected, it's too late. It's already in people's memories.
Yeah, exactly. Right. And this is that whole thing. Where there's a lot of talk, especially within the Ukraine support community, of which I'm sure most of you know we very much are. And we talk a lot about Russian interference, Russian propaganda, and influence in social media and stuff. But it's really, really becoming a situation of right-wing hardcore influence as well. There is a story here. Where is it? Sorry, everybody. So let me just put this in because I didn't want to get into this much, but Trump was talking about saving TikTok in a little blurb to camera here just in the last 24 hours. And one of the things he said, and you know how Trump works, everybody, you know how he jokes about a thing first, lets it stew in the brain and lets the social media suss it out and stuff, and then starts making it real. What did he say? He's working a deal to save TikTok, and then he jokes, it would be so great to tweak these algorithms so they're 100% MAGA.
Yes.
So I wouldn't doubt, Truth Social is a wasteland except for hard righties, right? And I would say at least a third of everybody signed up to Truth Social is like me. They're just watching this idiot so they can get the stuff to talk about later on their shows and stuff. So imagine if he can tweak the algorithm to TikTok and get it back. How many people on TikTok actually pay attention to what TikTok's doing to serve them up stuff? And before you know it, over a 6-month curve, everything just starts leaning like the Tower of Pisa to the right.
What exactly is a MAGA twerk anyway?
It's where you're too old to shake your ass, so you just stick it out and hope somebody gives it a slap.
No, you just stick your ass out and you just wiggle your phone around.
Yeah, crazy though. Crazy. So, what do you think? I think it's deeper, a lot deeper than it sounds on the top, Commander,
Yep. No, it's an interesting thing. I believe bears watching, not just, in this case, the EU Parliament, but globally. I think that it's something that class are pursuing because it benefits their interests and they have the wherewithal to push that agenda on us.
Yeah. And if I can conclude this little discussion with this one tidbit, people, if you're a believer in a higher power, God, Christ, yada, yada, whatever, please understand that these guys are pandering to you for your beliefs, and most of them don't have them.
Yeah, well, unfortunately, that message isn't getting through.
I know
there are an awful lot of people who are terrified, and they're calling us radical lefties already, even though we're just not fascists. Like
I know.
Them. Yeah. So it's already happening. I can see the same thing happening over here. We don't want it, but it's just going to steamroll in, just like Trump did in the last election. You don't want it, but it's going to happen. And then we're going to have to pick up the pieces down the road somewhere.
Yeah. Shout out here. We got Niles Nudson in the chat, re-upping the membership as a Shill apprentice. And that is 24 months of Shill's membership. Huge, Niles. Thank you very much, man. One other shout out I'll do is we do have a fundraiser going for our team. Sorry, that's the right page. The link will get dropped in the live chat. I'm sure it's in the description as well. We're doing really good. We're helping a few people and we're strengthening the team. So any donation is very much appreciated. Joe Medley and Kevin Wooldridge were the last on the list. Big thanks, guys. Really cool. I have something that we can bring up here. Where is it here? The Trump administration's, let's say, announcements about autism and whatnot are absolutely driving people absolutely crazy. There's a Canadian mom of 2 boys, a 12-year-old son on the autism spectrum, racked her brain if she'd ever taken, Tylenol when she was pregnant, and she and many others have started doing this whole thing. Now, keep in mind, people, this is a Canadian woman, right? Trump doing this to people that are on the right, so to speak, are actually listening, and RFK Jr. and Trump and whoever else is in on this has not a clue what they're talking about. It is stupid beyond stupid beyond stupid. Tylenol ain't giving autism to anyone. Otherwise, 80% of the population would be on the spectrum. It is so stupid, it's not funny. Please don't fall down the rabbit hole of trying to figure out if you could be responsible. Yeah. But this is the whole thing. Anybody who buys into this crap is going to instantly fall down the rabbit hole, the total siphon well, or whatever you want to call it, of self-doubt and guilt.
Giant open pit mine.
Yeah, there is no scientific background behind this whatsoever. Keep in mind, these idiots do still think that vaccines are bad, and that all leads to Andrew Wakefield. He was a doctor. He was the one that started the autism and vaccines thing. He was discredited, proved fraudulent, and then it came out that he did it all because he was going to bring his own vaccine to market. Stop buying into this stuff. It is pure unscientific lies.
Yeah, I'm still pretty sure that somebody in the pharmaceutical, area had pissed Trump off somehow.
Yes.
And he goes, right, I'm just going to destroy your company. I'm going to destroy Tylenol.
Well, doesn't this probably come from the fact that he was tweeting about how cheap his pills were over in the UK versus here, and he was getting all pissy about it?
Well, he was going to reduce him by 15 million %.
Yeah, right. Yeah, Epstein-Aminophen. Titan Uranus. That's funny. Oh, that's funny. But yeah. I mean, I agree with Titan there. It's very much a distraction tactic and so on. And they know that the MAGA faithful actually believe these conspiracies. So it's at least going to try to shore up the base because they're losing a lot. I mean, Joe Rogan is almost daily now going against Trump.
What we need is RFK to come out and say, messing around with underage girls, it gives you what's it called? Dementia. That's it.
Oh,
was his memory loss?
Yeah, that will scare him.
Super chat in from Paul Gilbert. Let's cheer for the Moldovan election results. Yeah, good shout, Paul Gilbert. Love it very much. Good shout. And thanks for the super chat, man. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Here, we'll give him a little. I don't think he's riding his bear in celebration after that one, is he?
Why? What were the results?
Not Putin's.
Yeah. The non-Putin candidate did quite well.
Was Putin on the list?
No,
his bitch was. Just give me one quick second here, guys. Who's next turn?
Commander.
Okay. I'm going to do two kind of at the same time. I'm not specifically talking about these incidents, but what ties them together, if you will. Okay. So we'll start with the one that people may be slightly more familiar with, since we touched on it not last week, but the week before. Anyway, Brazil's lower house voted to expedite an amnesty bill pardoning thousands of supporters of former far-right President Bolsonaro.
Yeah.
Who was convicted of storming Congress, the Supreme Court, and Presidential Palace in 23. The preliminary draft of this bill covered all political demonstrations from October 22 onward, with some legislators wanting the bill to be extended to cover Bolsonaro himself, who was recently convicted and received a 27-year prison sentence for attempting a coup. Backers are framing this bill as promoting peace, while critics call it an attempt to protect Bolsonaro and undermine accountability. The amnesty bill in question reflects deep struggles in Brazil between radicalized, confrontational far-right movement and their congressional opponents. Bolsonaro's allies see the measure as shielding their leader and reframing the riots as a legitimate protest.
Ooh.
You might think that sounded a little similar to something that occurred here in the U.S. in January.
Yeah, around the 6th.
But we won't go into the details. It's not important. Anyway, there's also pushback against the Supreme Court from the far right, which the Supreme Court being the ones who have led the prosecutions against most of these coup plotters. Granting amnesty to the protesters and the coup plotters could erase accountability for the gravest attack on Brazilian democracy since the end of military rule in 85. And this basically would embolden extremists to push their agenda even further and stage more coups. So that's item one. Now listen to item two and think about the similarities here. Item number two. Indonesian President Subianto appointed retired General Chaniago as security minister following deadly protests over revelations that all 580 parliamentary lawmakers were receiving housing allowances more than 10 times Jakarta's minimum wage, Jakarta being the capital of Indonesia.
Wow.
Violence escalated after police killed an unlicensed ride-hailing driver, effectively like Uber, leading to the dismissal of 5 government ministers. This crisis tests Indonesia's young democracy as it tries to balance public anger over blatant corruption with the return of a president long tainted by corruption and human rights abuses himself. President Subianto's appointment of Chaniago, who was once the guy who ousted him in a coup, signals attempts to reconcile with military elites. However, civil unrest exposes a deep resentment of the electorate, especially among Indonesia's Gen Z, who comprise over a third of the population, who are frustrated with the inequality and self-serving attitudes of the elites. Indonesian stability matters far beyond its borders. As it's the third largest democracy in the world, it's a G20 economy and is a pivotal strategic partner in the region's US-Chinese rivalry. So,
wow, okay, yeah.
Compare those two things. And we go back to what we were just talking about.
Yeah.
It's all of this, the billionaire, ultra wealthy, oligarchic class, all trying to ensure that they get to stay up on top, and the rest of us, who cares if we're starving to death in the streets? We don't matter.
Yeah.
Bring me another magnum champagne, please.
Yeah. now, as we tackle and get into this more, because I mean, like you're pointing out here very rightly, this is not isolated, right? This is really happening.
Yep.
You're going to get people that are going to lean towards this conspiracy of the stonemasons that run the world or whatever, blah, blah, blah. I'd just like to point out that
I thought it was an international Jewish conspiracy. Did I get that?
Yeah. I make a donation every year so I can go to the ball. But when you're talking about these ultra rich Ubers wanting to stay in power and keep control and everything, they don't need to get together and do a secret meeting to do this. They just watch each other and go, hey, that worked, I'm in, and blah, blah, and so on. You don't need the cabal to make it still a reality.
Right. They don't have some, club meeting once a year where they sit down and, let's see, how can we screw over people this week? These are people who, let's be honest, they socialize with one another. That's their circle that they run in.
Yeah.
So they talk to one another and, oh my God, they're going to raise my taxes by 0.25%. I can't stand this.
Yeah.
It's like these people who, even if you raise their taxes 50%, would still have more that they could spend in not their kids, not their grandkids, but their great grandkids' lifetime if they were all spendthrifts.
Exactly.
William Marcos.
Yeah, every one of them could be a Trump child and they'd still get through, right?
Yeah. It would be great if they spent their money, because that would go back into the economy.
You're not wrong, But and I like, you take some really rich person and they'll be like, do you understand that if I paid the same percentage in taxes as you, I'd be paying like the kind of income tax that Vancouver Island pays collectively? And I'm like, sorry, don't care. It shouldn't go down just because it's a lot of money.
Yeah, it's proportional, dude.
Yeah. I can't.
It should be.
Yeah. So as you can see, Commander, that was a really good one to point out, because this is happening over and over, everywhere, and it's getting worse and worse for the average person.
I chose those two because that happened to be what I found. But, recently we had the situation in Nepal, same kind of thing. There's so many situations like this around the world where the population, particularly young people, are getting fed up with the fact that there is no upward mobility in the system anymore.
Yeah.
You're doomed to be a wage slave for your entire life.
Yeah.
If you're lucky.
Yeah. Yeah.
And, that anger is just bubbling, and we keep squishing the lid on the damn pot tighter and tighter. What happens when you get too much pressure in the container?
Exactly.
Makes a loud noise.
I've been saying for a few years, Commander, one day a whole whack of these people are going to get up, get themselves ready, head down to their chauffeured cars, pull out, show up at work or their building or whatever. There's no doorman anymore because they can't afford to live close enough to actually work there. All those, they're...
San Francisco had that problem with teachers.
Yeah.
In that they had to actually purchase blocks of apartments so that teachers could live near enough to be able to go and teach in the schools in San Francisco, because the rents in the city were so damned high. You couldn't rent an apartment. You had to have, associated with your job owned by the school district. So we're going back to the old company town model.
Yeah. It's like Henry Ford, trying to build one, right? Yeah. So, Dunk, where do you want to take us, for our next one here?
Oh, I don't know. Just on a point, follow-up point
sorry.
on that.
Yeah.
No, just a quick follow-up point. Yeah, because it's interesting. I mean, okay, we're talking about science fiction again, but I finished the series Alien Earth, which is kind of interesting because in that future, I can't remember what year it's supposed to be, but there are no governments. There are 6 corporations running the world. And and if the billionaires are going to be, I mean, you could imagine, Elon Musk, he was probably ready to step in, take over the United States, and declare himself king.
Oh yeah,
yeah. So it's a horrible concept to think of, but we might be rolling towards that kind of future.
Oh, yeah. I mean, a lot of the people in that social class really are extra national. They don't, yeah, they're technically. I'm Russian because I have a Russian passport or whatever, but all the doors globally magically open to people from that class. And they are, in many cases, the equivalent of their own nation, if you will. And you look at a lot of science fiction dystopia settings, and it all comes down to that, where people, many of them, fairly brilliant minds, think about these things. It's a case of, we're headed rapidly in that direction where nationalism will cease to be the defining factor of who and what you are. It will be more along the lines of, I worked or used to work for X corporation. And we see that already with people who work for major corporations who transfer internationally between stations working for IBM, AT&T, Mercedes-Benz, you name it, big companies like that.
Hyundai.
Yeah. No,
being arrested in America.
Yeah, no, but that's my point, is that you have a lot of that already started. It's very low level. It's not at the level we're talking where the corporation supplants the nation, but in some cases we're working in that direction. I mean, you look at, like, say, an aviation industry giant like Boeing or Lockheed Martin or whatever.
Boing!
And yeah, you show up in a country that has purchased their aircraft for either their commercial air fleet or their military air force, and just the fact that you have I'm employed by that company, it magically opens doors to the finest restaurants and hotels and that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I could do some of that.
Couldn't we all?
Yeah. Oh, it doesn't matter who opens the door or what. Who's paying the bill? I'll walk in then,
All right. So what do you want next? You want something stupid? Something serious, or what?
Your choice. Your choice.
Oh, I'm asking you. Okay. Well, everyone, has been worried about this Jimmy Kimmel cancellation. That story just keeps, constantly unfolding in different shades of.
Keeps giving.
Yeah. I mean, he's being cancelled, uncancelled, and some people are deciding to go with him, and some, he's all over the bloody place.
Yeah.
But interesting enough, ABC was being slammed. Their phone boards were being, the phone board was blocked. Just completely overloaded with complaints coming in about Jimmy Kimmel being cancelled. Unfortunately, that was the Australian broadcast company, and they had nothing to do with it.
Yeah, they got really annoyed because their phones went off the hook, man.
At least with the Australian corporation, because they speak the same language. Imagine if those poor Austrians had been hit with that problem.
Well, I mean, I went down to my local library, I didn't want to, catch up on my, vocabulary and especially my alphabet, and they were burning all the ABC books in a big skip, so everyone's angry about ABC.
The funniest thing about this is telephones, country codes, America. How often do you have to phone one of your friends and use something other than one?
what is the Australian? Is it like 1-1? Do they get
I
confused?
don't know. What the hell?
No, funny. Okay, another thing here we got Hershey Halloween candy. There was a class action suit against Hershey because their Halloween candy just wasn't scary enough. They basically made pumpkin shaped candy, and on the picture. The picture on the packet, you see like the pumpkin eyes and the mouth and everything. But when you open it up, it's just bit of chocolate that's in a bit of a pumpkin shape. And so there was a class action suit brought against them for not having their candy scary enough. Thankfully the judge thought it was like completely ridiculous and threw it out.
Simple solution: simply put a little warning label on there that says 1 in every 1,000 has been poisoned with strychnine.
Yeah.
That's scary.
Made with Tylenol.
Oh. Children, do you miss finding a razor in your apple? Well, guess what we hid in the Reese?
It may contain smallpox.
And you know what, though? If it said that, there'd be none on the shelf because RFK Jr. would buy them all up for his family.
It's got to feed his worm, isn't it? All right, okay. So that's a couple of silly ones out of the way. But well, here we go. Trump has declared war on Portland, Oregon.
God, yes.
Yeah. What do you think about that? I mean, is it actually happened?
Drive through Portland, going south to visit relatives in the Bay Area, San Francisco Bay Area. Yeah, I can see declaring war on Portland traffic, but the city itself, no. The city's a nice place.
Yeah, I've been seeing my Facebook feed, just filled with people just sending in images of glorious looking Portland, Farmers Market Day. Oh, look at the mayhem and the warfare going on here. It's chaos.
Yeah.
What? I mean, has it actually happened? I don't know. It was a threat. Is he followed through with it in any way, shape, or form yet?
Well,
I haven't been watching Mercado, so he's usually the one that's reporting this.
The people of Portland seem to be very ready for this. The mayor and governor and stuff and whatnot have been very clear in their message that they don't want this. They're not asking for it. It's not needed. But they've also been very clear in letting the people know that Donald Trump's administration is doing this on purpose to provoke you into action. So then they can use troops and force more. Protest peacefully. Yeah. It's an absolute must right now. You must do this peacefully so that the media's cameras will show that the only aggression was on the part of people who take orders from Orange Ronald J. Gump himself.
What you need to do, you need to get in the face of these invading troops.
Oh, no.
Eat a Subway sandwich, not throw it out.
Okay.
The problem with that is, as we saw in the last time there was an incident with protests in Portland.
Yep.
That organizations like Proud Boys and Atomwaffen and etc., they are sneaking in covert agents to be amongst the protesters and to provoke
agitators. Yeah. That's actually why, Commander, there's this thing. If you're good at finding people who are liars in life, you'll know what I'm talking about. But they always lay down what they are or planning or maybe did do as somebody else. And the biggest cue to what Commander's saying right now is just yesterday, Ronald Gump tweeted about how the FBI had almost 300 agents in the crowd as agitators on January 6th, and he's going after them.
What?
Yeah.
Hey, guess where the real agitators are going to be in Portland?
Yeah, right. So Trump is admitting that he would be the kind of person to do this by
Absolutely.
accusing the other side of doing it. And anybody knows that the January 6th was the angry, hard right, gun-toting mofos that we all kind of make fun of.
Yep.
Unbelievable that this is the day and age when in my 50s I'm living through this. I'm just blowing me away.
Yeah, you're living through history, and you should be glad
I
of it.
cannot overstate how dangerous the situation potentially is.
Yes.
Because they are looking for that excuse so they can declare martial law. And basically, anybody who is an elected official from the other side, or a pundit who, has any kind of an audience online or on broadcast airwaves, boom, you're gone.
Yeah.
They will disappear your ass faster than you can whistle Dixie.
Yeah.
See, thing is, I wouldn't put it past this administration to have moles inside the agitator kind of groups who are out there, building it up. So to try to get the agitation going, to promote it and make it bloody happen. So then Trump can do whatever he wants with his power. I just don't believe this administration at all. I expect them to, put up false flags and all kind of shit. Sorry, I'm not making myself clear there.
No, you are though. You are
running over my head. If you're wondering what the noise is.
Yeah, you're totally making sense though. Let's see here. I had another Trump one here that I wanted to bring up, and it's based on Portland as well. And the thing that caught me, Dunk, in addressing this situation was his right before Antifa are now a terrorist group, but it's not just a terrorist group because the wording was very specific. They are a domestic terrorist group. As I understand, that designation does not exist in any sort of nomenclature about law and justice in America.
It does, but it's not a well-defined term. The big issue, and this is one which when you link it to what's going to happen tomorrow with this giant meeting of all military senior.
Oh my God, that's tomorrow.
Yeah, that was on my list too.
Yeah, okay, okay.
The thing is, after 9/11, Congress signed into law a thing called the AUMF, or the Authorization for Use of Military Force. And it specifically said the president is authorized to use, without ever having to come back to Congress, free use as often, wherever, how much you need to pursue acts of terrorism.
Yes.
By branding the political opposition in this country as domestic terrorists,
and by
it means he can now start legally using the military against those people.
And I do believe that this whole thing with terrorists and Antifa is a way of getting a label on non-MAGA being targets.
Right.
The other thing as well, you're talking about the regulations, the things they brought in after 9/11. The government, passed these, certain bills or whatever to, get emergency powers, and and those emergency powers are granted. But they never give them back. They never release them. As soon as the government has got a power, that's it. They hold on to it.
It's weird because I don't think the Bush administration, in its wildest mind, could have come up with the fact that Congress would grant them effectively an indefinite and non-limited AUMF.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So from this moment in American history, moving forward until Congress might possibly, perhaps, assuming we don't, arrest them all, suspend that AUMF, we can use the military to do whatever we damn well feel like it, as long as we can very thinly put a sticker on it that says, ooh, terrorist.
Yeah. Yeah, I bet some people wish they'd taken they suspended that at some point in the past few years.
Well, they tried recently. Somebody on the Democratic side tried to introduce a bill to end the AUMF, and it disappeared in committee.
Right. Was that during Trump's term?
Right. No, that's recently, like within the past couple of months.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. No, they should have done it, before he got in power.
Oh yeah. That was something Biden should have done the moment he took office.
Yeah. Yeah. We're talking about the guardrails that everyone was talking about, with Donald Trump coming in. It's okay. We got all these guardrails. Well, you left that one bloody wide open, didn't you?
Yeah. Yeah.
I think the problem was far too many people in the Democratic hierarchy were convinced that after the debacle of the first Trump term, they'd never be allowed back into government. Not just the Trumpians and the MAGAs, but Republicans in general were never going to get back in, at least for the foreseeable future, because of all the bad things that occurred.
Yeah.
And that highlights the short-sightedness and myopia that permeates the DNC.
Yeah, it's stupid.
They missed so many social media opportunities. They missed capitalizing on so many things. I mean, it's so bad that it's only now that Newsom has figured out how to actually do it in the modern day.
And here's, I won't call it the tragedy, but here's the blowback from that, is many Democrats are saying because Newsom is being so aggressive about that, he's basically destroying his own chances at getting the Democratic nomination.
If they do that, they might as well just disband the party and let the Republicans own it, because Newsom's message is just. His desire is honest. His public servant as a leader, an elected leader is honest and righteous. I truly believe he's just figured out how to get through.
Yeah, but heaping some of the blame on my own generation, the boomers view that kind of in-your-face pushback as, oh, that's bad, that's not good, we don't want to see that, we want cooperation across the aisle, et cetera, et cetera. It's like, at what point have you morons lost track of reality that they not only aren't cooperating across the aisle, it's the one thing they refuse to do. They're elected specifically because they refuse to work across the aisle.
That's right. Any Republican in this day and age that's been elected that does the traditional compromise of politics will be vilified.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure I've mentioned it on Shills before, but my local representative to U.S. Congress came back in one of his town hall things that they do every year, came back and was relating a story that occurred right after he had shown up to D.C. as a freshman congressman. And he had a piece of legislation he really, really wanted to get introduced. And he wanted to find a co-sponsor from the Republican side to go with that bill, because he knew it would benefit a number of Republican districts as well. It was that kind of a bill. So he found a guy who was also another freshman, but from the other side of the aisle, and he invited him to lunch, and they sat down and they talked, and he tried to explain to him, this is what I'm trying to do and everything. And the guy said, look, I like you. I think you've got the best interest of your constituency at heart. And I don't disagree that that bill that you're proposing I co-sign on would benefit my district enormously. But if I co-sponsor this bill with you, I'm basically committing political suicide.
Yeah.
My constituents elected me to Congress for one reason and one reason only, to stick it to the Dems,
Yeah.
the libs.
Yeah.
They don't care if it hurts them, costs them jobs and money.
Yeah.
None of that is important. The only things that's important is to piss upon the Democratic conventions of the nation.
Yeah, it always comes down to that us versus them. You can always sum it up with that one person in the comments who replies, "Oh, you crybaby Dem, you just can't stand that we beat you."
Yep.
Right?
Yep, that guy.
Yeah. Those people are the ones we don't need voting. Half of you people that don't bother voting, we fucking need you people voting. The importance of sacrificing that hour or two of your day or whatever it takes to go and vote is totally missed on way too much of the population.
Yeah, and I think that's one of the reasons we're seeing so much aggressive pushing on some of these issues from the MAGA side right now, is because they're seeing their support amongst their core constituencies beginning to erode as people start saying, you know, what about these Epstein files that you promised that you were going to release? You haven't done that. And more that's that kind of stuff that they're listening to, and they're beginning, you know, wait a minute, the tariffs, I'm losing money. My business is going to fold because of these idiotic tariffs.
Yeah.
And that kind of thing. And these are, you know, the small-time middle America people that they count on to keep MAGA as a functioning entity.
Mhm.
And they're all starting to go, wait a damn minute.
Yeah, but the interesting thing is they're just saying, well, you know, the Republican Party is the GOP at the minute. What are you doing? What are you doing? You're fucking things up. Does it mean they'll vote Democrat? Probably not. They'll probably just go, you know.
That's key, as many of them would be more than willing to vote the same a-holes back into power because they refuse to vote for Dem.
And that becomes the thing now. How do you get around that? And
tribalism.
Well, yeah. How do you get around that? I think the campaign people, the people that should be helping craft the message or at least the ideas and stuff for the Democratic Party have to start employing more a few youthful people that understand, like, you should try to hire somebody who's worked social media for a big YouTuber.
Pause for a moment to insert insulting comment about Gen Z or Gen X.
Yeah. You know, but seriously, and the other side of that, just one sec, Dunk,
right.
is you need a little psychology work in your message to make sure that yours is of the quality it needs to be to beat theirs. You've got to outsmart them. It can't just be, you know, Bernie Sanders yelling and screaming and Newsom with the tweets, right? Go ahead, Dunk. Yeah.
Yeah, well, it's Bernie I wanted to bring up because he has these massive rallies and he goes to he goes to red states and stuff. He has them eating out of his hand by the end of it, you know. No billionaires, they're fucking
exactly.
You know, they're screwing us all. But no, he doesn't go at the end of the show, like, share, and subscribe and vote Democrat. It doesn't take that step. He just gets them angry and go, these fucking Republicans are fucking everything up. We got to get a proper Republican in who's not going to fuck. No, that's not what I meant.
He actually does get his base riled up. They do want, and the message that he sells, they've shown repeatedly that message sells well in rural red state areas.
Yeah.
Stuff he says that he wants to put in place. But all it takes is for anybody on either side, and honestly, I'm convinced that the DNC hates Bernie worse than it hates Trump.
Good point.
I'm serious about that.
Yeah, there's
All
not.
it takes is somebody to label him a socialist, and right then and there, 99% of the American electorate will not touch him.
Yeah, there's this weird thing with the Democratic National Party thing where when Bernie is doing all of this big thing in the tour and everything and blah, blah, I never hear one of them mention his efforts in work. Nobody. You know, you know, and he's always saying, I don't want to be president, blah, blah, you know, like, you know, just, yeah.
So what is it? What do you want then, Bernie?
Yeah.
I mean, you haven't told us what you want us to do. You just rile us all up. Go, yeah, we want to get rid of the oligarchy.
For the programs he wants to put in place. He's not just trying to stir the pot. He has proposed solutions of what he wants to do.
Yeah. There's been a few that people seem to resonate with as well.
Very much.
I want to point out just quickly, I don't want to get into them. There was the shooting at the Michigan church. They have released info. There was some military service in the guy's background. And a couple other things. I don't know why that was, prominent in the news, but they did.
Because everybody always wants to know who did it. What side are they on?
Yeah, it's a weird story. Assault rifle, guy lit a fire because he, trying to trap. It was really, really screwed up. But there was also a suspect opened fire from a boat at North Carolina waterfront bar in a premeditated attack. Can I just say, people, please, I don't know what's pissing you off in life. I've got a few myself, but a loaded gun is not going to solve your problems because your problems only get worse when you get fed dry bread and gruel 3 times a day in a max security prison. We don't live in a day and age where you people are going to get away with this shit. Stop it.
Yeah. People in the UK are getting mad by putting flags on lampposts because we're not allowed to have guns.
Yeah. See,
I think a lot of the people that do those kind of things, there's an inherent element of suicide by cop in their planning.
I read a thing about this today, Commander. Somebody was breaking down the mindset of the people, and they very much want the authorities to take them down.
Yeah, because they think, I'll live on in history. Not to put it in the terminology I'm about to use, but these are in some ways marginal personalities, marginal people. They're marginalized, and they feel the only way they can stand out is to do something dramatic, like shoot up a school or a synagogue or what have you.
Yeah.
And then their name, like Lee Harvey Oswald or whatever, will go down in history, and everybody will remember them as the great assassin. They don't care it's a negative vision of themselves. All they care about is they'll be remembered, because they know if they don't do something like this, they're literally going to continue for their entire life to be absolute nobodies.
Yeah. Which is fine.
It's kind of stupid because
that's not, you have to arise to some people will remember me.
Yeah, Dunk.
Yeah, it's kind of stupid because you think the top 40 one-hit wonders of the music charts, and you go, Jesus, can't remember any of the names of the bands who wrote that music. Never mind people who just randomly shoot. Yeah, like how many times? It's like twice a day in America, and they all want to become famous.
Yeah, they all want to be Charlie Manson. It's not going to happen, guys.
How are they going to get to the top of the list?
Yeah.
Oh shit! That just means they've got to be more creative.
Oh, don't challenge them. Yeah.
I take it back. I take that back. Yeah.
Don't give them ideas.
Yeah. Oh dear God. Yeah. Quick reminder here: we got a fundraiser going for our team, the moderator team. There's a couple of computer things to help them with everything they do around here and whatnot, as well as a couple of personal family things. Important fundraiser for us. really appreciate any support anybody can throw in. We'll get the link in the live chat, and I'm pretty sure it's in the description as well. Anything else we should cover here, Commander?
We got time for maybe one more. Before
Yeah,
we
yeah.
start doing our goodbyes. I've got a couple if you want me to, if nobody else has anything I want to bring up.
Launch into it, buddy.
Okay. That thunderous opposition to me saying anything. Oh, let's see. Well, we've been hammering American politics, so I'm going to skip that one for right now. Okay. On the 17th of September, Pakistan and Saudi Arabia signed a mutual defense agreement declaring that an attack on either constitutes an attack on both. Pakistan has been training Saudi officers in their military academies since 1967, but this pact expands on and institutionalizes responding to rather specific threats, although it comes in the wake of regional upheaval following Israel's attacks on IGRC targets in Qatar. It also brings in all the other little things that are going on globally in terms of, can you rely on the U.S., Saudi Arabia as your ally anymore? You know,
Has
given
India said anything about this?
No, not yet. Anyway, an alliance between these two countries, remembering, of course, that Pakistan is nuclear armed, substantially alters the security architecture of the Middle East and specifically the Persian Gulf region. For the Saudis, it provides further security guarantees in a volatile region where U.S. support has recently grown unpredictable. For Pakistan, it offers diplomatic and financial backing from a key global partner in the face of growing domestic turmoil. This raises questions over how Pakistan's going to be using its nuclear capability to support this should push come to shove.
Well, I mean, Commander, right away, Saudi, money, Pakistan, capability. This is not small news, is it? Right?
Yeah. And one thing a lot of people don't know is that a substantial portion of the Saudi military in the enlisted ranks, they aren't Saudis. They're Pakistanis, Bangladeshis.
Almost mercenary type.
Yeah, they'll hire enlisted personnel from Muslim countries who can be depended upon to be reliable and loyal.
Yeah. You got the belief thing and the whole thing going already, right?
Yeah, in many cases, these guys already have military service, for example, in Pakistani or Bangladeshi military before they go and work for the Saudis. They get paid better in Saudi Arabia than they ever did in their home countries.
Oh, I bet that.
Yeah, so it's kind of it's a misnomer to say it, but we'll say it's cream of the crop from Pakistan and Bangladesh's militaries are going for these higher paying jobs. But yeah, when I read about that, and I knew about it last week, and I was going, do we want to talk about this? Because we really don't know how it's going to plan out. We don't know. But the more I thought about it, the idea of Saudi money and international diplomatic oomph being partnered with Pakistan's large population and Pakistan's nuclear arsenal, that creates all sorts of interesting situations that interesting in the sense of, you know, the Chinese adage about may you live in interesting times.
Yeah, I mean, if you've got capacity for manufacture and stuff, and you've got Saudi money behind you, you can be a very powerful player within what kind of time frame? 10 years on the global scale, Commander?
Assuming the Saudis are serious about it and give you enough money, yeah. And the labor market in Pakistan's definitely cheap.
Right. And now, do you think there's any
And that would also alleviate one of Pakistan's problems by getting a disgruntled, impoverished population back to working.
yeah. Does this
So if
play
you scratch
in with
my back, I'll scratch yours.
does this play in at all to the Legion of Doom building around Russia and all, do you think?
One of the problems I have with, the Legion of Doom or that kind of thing, people keep trying to force feed the global situation back
Into one versus the other.
Cold War bipolar paradigm.
Right.
That is over and done.
You think we're going to have like 4 slices to the pie?
And probably more as we wait and more regional hegemons emerge.
Well, the Western world showed that trade alliances and allegiances and stuff and all of this really does work. And now it's being torn out from under us by an idiot on a golden toilet. So it only makes sense that people would go, well, we got to partner up and play ball with somebody, right?
Yep.
Scary shit, man. Scary shit.
Very much so.
Yeah. So what do we got here? Hour 36 in. We don't want this show to be too long, because if we keep it under 2 hours, we do tend to get better views after it's live. Right? Dunk, you want to jump into anything before we're done?
Let's see. Oh, wow. Yeah, I'm glad you brought it up. The Epstein list. Because Prince Andrew seems to have been heavily named, as well as Elon Musk, and that's a different story. But Prince Andrew has come up, so he's being named. Yeah, and
Elon,
he's going to deny shit and stuff. Now, everybody talks about the fact that if the full extent of the Epstein files is released, it could really ruin Trump. I mean, really ruin him.
I think there's quite a few billionaire leaders that will be demolished over it, to be honest. Yeah.
Now, Prince Andrew, I don't really give a shit about him, quite frankly. He's not anymore. He's not really, an active member of the royal family in the UK. And I would give him absolute total respect if he took it, took it on the nose, take it on the chin, whatever the phrase is, and and just call it out as it is, and make sure and bring the Epstein files out. Say yes, I am in them, and it's not good. Yeah, but you need to see them for other reasons, and he'll take the fall. Yeah, but he'll take the fall for the greater good of everybody else.
It would be awesome.
I think he would.
Sorry.
Fuck is wrong with you?
Sorry, I was trying to do that. Keep going. Sorry.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, if he's been doing nasty things with underage girls and all that kind of stuff, that's not good. But it would actually, make him partially a hero. Yeah. For bringing an end to this.
You got a good point, Dunk, because whoever finally steps up and does the open the floodgate thing is probably the one that's going to get off with the least and stuff. And you know what I mean? That's kind of how it works, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, he stands up and acknowledges, I did a bad thing. I'm sorry. I shouldn't have done it. But those were the times. And I'm standing up and saying, here's what I know.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the thing is,
I would write names and bring those down, and you'll be forgotten real quick.
Yeah,
I find it kind of ironic after the War of Independence that it would be a British royal that takes down the American presidency.
You fuckers just never forget.
I thank you, and George Washington thanks you.
I know, stupid, but yeah. Hey,
it's funny. Before we go here, quick one from myself. There's a huge group of scientists and scientific groups and so on who are flipping out in the background. They're sending all kinds of letters in because Trump has this new thing that's kicking in where all scientific research will no longer be based on peer review results and where the money should go. It's all going to be reviewed by a MAGA inserted person. And I'm sorry, America, but you're all going to fail the science test for about 10 years if you don't vote to get the House or whatever it is there under control in the next year and start stopping this stuff. Because the last thing you want is to go back to the 60s and have measles parties.
I can see a rise in the flat earth movement from the end of this.
Don't get PJ a hard on.
Yeah, we don't need scientists. Yeah, just read my ridiculous paper that I just made up on YouTube.
But it's really bad, man. It's really, really bad. You know, you can't have the administration in charge of what real science is. Real science is decided by real scientists, by peer review. It's not decided by some government asshole with his own ideas, ideals, and agendas. This is not how it works.
Now, going back over to the UK, Nigel Farage is one of those kind of people who's against science and scientists. He doesn't believe anything they say. Yet he was asked about numbers that, about immigration in the UK. And he said, where did you get that from? He said, from the taxi driver.
Oh, my God.
Great.
I'm a scientist. I do science. Name that film.
That's Steve Martin?
Nope. Lost Skeleton of Cadabra.
Oh, you've lost me on that one.
Gene Wilder?
Yeah. It's nobody's. They set out to deliberately make a mock science fiction movie from the 50s, but to make it as badly as they possibly could. Hilarious movie. If you haven't seen it, you really need to.
What's it called again?
Lost Skeleton of Cadabra.
Okay.
Right. Dick, write that down onto the Shills server.
Yeah. We'll get that into the green room so I remember to put it in the server as soon as we're done here. Speaking of done here, why don't we do our thoughts and wrap-ups and yada yadas and blah blah blahs, and we'll toss this one in the bank, shall we? Dunk, why don't you go first?
Yeah, well, let's face it, the more of the shit is happening this week as it happened the week before, and it's going to happen next week. So don't forget to come and watch the show for more of the same shit or more slightly different shit. But it was going to be shit. It's going to be shit. We were talking about AI. We were talking about AI earlier. We didn't get onto the fact of the Chinese
Internet Explorer. What?
The Chinese have used AI to make a gay couple straight in a wedding scene at the beginning of a film.
Oh my God!
Didn't like that.
No.
That woman's got a big cock
and a lovely beard. So as the world falls apart, make sure you join us every Sunday to witness it, because we are a part of history. And quite frankly, I'd rather not be part of history. A different part of his history when things were nice and pretty and full of puppies and kittens and bunny rabbits. But we're not tough.
Yeah, puppies that Christy Nome didn't shoot. Commander, what do you think, buddy?
I think we had a good show. We covered a lot of really interesting topics that I think hopefully will provoke some thought in the listeners.
Good thinking. Yes, because that's one of the things we want to do with this. It's not your traditional headline show. It's stuff that's a little outside the norm, but hopefully stuff that you agree you should know. Remember, we've got a fundraiser going for our team. We'll get the link in the live chat and in the description and stuff. And a big thanks to everybody who's helped support it. And we'll see you, Thursday on our other channel at the Shills Live on YouTube for some pub chat hangout and some crazy headlines and stuff.
We'll see what happens.
Yeah, big thanks to the team here. We got Mexi Girl on the Shills account, PJ CNET, Liam Wakefield, Carpasian the AI Alchemist, who does all the crazy pictures that you see as we're going like this one here. We got David Worley and Super Chat Matt, because without the team, you can't get it done around here. It's just that simple. Thanks for joining us, everyone. Thanks for supporting us, and see you on the flip side real soon.
Yeah. Stay shilly.
Good call.